on the Olga Land channel. Today we have a very relevant topic. In previous videos I was asked and argued with on the topic of what is more profitable to book a hotel or to reserve some long-term. To rent.
Olga Land. Yachts, transfers, excursions, group and individual. Everything you were looking for in Antalya. Subscribe.
Today someone is riding with me in the car. We went for a review. We were at the Deluxe Hotel. Now we're heading home. I thought, why not record such a relevant video for you while I have a real estate expert sitting in the car?
This is Nastya 3 and also in tourism. Hello everyone, my name is Nastya Trava. I am involved in tourism and real estate in Turkey. It so happened that tourists trust me and ask about apartments, so I'm starting to work in real estate.
And we have matured. This question arises every season. People ask me this every time, constantly. And of course, depending on the season, the political situation, the economic situation, this situation changes every year. And let's discuss in 2025. What is more profitable and under what circumstances it is more advantageous to rent an apartment and when it is better to book a hotel? And then we will also discuss, the moment of booking a hotel with an independent flight or a tour. Let's start with comparing an apartment and a hotel. If, for example, we look at a package tour, we book an apartment somewhere.
Well, look, an apartment, Herma, Lyman. Let's take our areas where we live. Got it, you Herma, Lyman. An apartment? In general, let's start with the fact that short-term rentals are prohibited. In Antalya, generally in Turkey, for a short term, if someone rents out an apartment, they do it illegally. Renting out apartments for a short term is prohibited, but if you get a license, and for that, you need to collect signatures, basically, go through a certain process.
Some sites which have these licenses rent everything out, and the neighbors don't mind.
That's right. So, but if someone suddenly offers you, keep in mind, it's not legal. It's not official and you agree to these terms, there will be no contract, no one signs anything. Yes, they do rent out, yes, you make an agreement, but there are risks that if there's an inspection, you might be asked to leave. It might even end in deportation because it's a violation of the law. So that's the first point, keep it in mind. Secondly, because of this, many people obtain licenses or offer apartments for short-term stays. And we take with you the area, namely Konyaaltı, this is Liman Kurma. We have apartments here. Good apartments, cost approximately, within walking distance to the sea, 90 euros give or take. There are apartments where in the season it's 100 euros per day. The apartments are good. Is this the first line? This is near the Starbucks. After the road? Yes, after the road. Second line. But it's within walking distance to the sea. And considering how the apartment is, it's close. We're pricing it, right? Yes. We want to get an estimate. Understood. And it turns out in Van Hayt, to your own apartment. So you have a pool, you have an apartment, you bring friends over. In this one, you can't bring friends, but you go shopping yourself, cook yourself. Approximately 100 euros can be considered.
Plus groceries and plus utilities, by the way.
If it's a short term, like a day, a week, 2 weeks, then it already goes away. But if you rent for a month or two, then you budget around $1,500 per month. Plus or minus $1,500. This is for us. Something like 1 plus 1 plus 12 plus 1,700. Casa Grande can be more expensive. In season, it can reach up to $2,000. Casa Grande. This is a huge, complex, luxurious good. The apartments there are more expensive, but we take the average. The average, you budget $1,500 a month or 100 euros a day, for example, for a week. But you will be going to the store on your own. You will be cooking on your own, maybe somewhere else. And plus probably another 1,000 for groceries. That's the minimum.
It's very expensive now.
It's become very expensive now. That's the minimum. But you definitely need to budget $2,500 for your vacation if you...
So, from the first part of our video, it turns out that if we take it for a month, then it's basically okay.
Well, it's profitable because...
Yes, but if we want to come for about 2 weeks...
We are asking for 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks they are asking about an apartment.
Yes, it's more cost-effective in a hotel.
Yes, it's more cost-effective in a hotel because for the same money, everything will be included. From morning till night. They will clean for you and you'll have the sea. in immediate proximity. You'll just have 300-200 meters to the sea. You won't have any worries, household chores, or daily life concerns.
Animation?
Animation, entertainment, all of that will be there. And when tourists come to me and ask, please tell us what is better for us to book separately, maybe an apartment or a hotel, the first thing I do is not look at the price. I focus on something else. Firstly, what do you expect from your vacation to the left? What do you expect from your vacation? Do you want to relax with everything included? Not to think about anything, not to think about where to buy groceries, cook, clean, or do you want to vacation? All inclusive? So this aspect also needs to be understood. And for tourists who are going to Turkey for the first time, I always recommend a hotel. Go to a hotel first. Whether it's Lavrin, Antalya, Kemer, go to any hotel first if it's your very first time. Just go to a hotel first. A week in a hotel, you'll get a general picture of the country, and then you can try vacationing in apartments or flats.
For example, for a large family, perhaps, renting an apartment might be more economical than a hotel, right?
On the contrary, for a large family, try feeding that large family in our restaurant now.
Yes.
And in a hotel, you have everything: drinks, food, breakfast, dinners, lunches, sweets, ice creams, entertainment, slides. Let's estimate, go to our Nibeg shop with the kids. For the whole day, you'll pay for the pool, breakfast, food. Just one protocol melts, how much does it cost here? But for your whole family, how much will you need? Feed them like in a hotel. On the contrary.
Even last year, just one outing, it didn't come out to less than 1,000 lira. Well, it just didn't work out.
No. I even notice it myself now. If I go with the child Qatar, I have about 1,500. I just don't understand it myself. Taxi back and forth, coffee 150 lira, protocol 100 lira. And you're not going with bags of groceries? No. You went to the store, you bought basic standard products, milk, bread, eggs, all for 1,000 lira now. Well, actually, for a large family, it's better to go to a hotel. And apartments, you can still spend on them if you're planning. Moving. If you're but planning to try living in Turkey, and try yourself, yes, here too. And look at real estate, you too. Here's my advice. It doesn't matter if it's supposedly cheaper than a tour or not. Move in, rent an apartment, live, try it out, go out and walk around, talk to people, try to buy a SIM card, really feel this life. In Turkey, there's this local vibe. Here's my first response. Let's return to the question. My first response is always like this. Have you vacationed in Turkey? Okay, if you haven't, I immediately say, let's start with a hotel. If you have vacation, then it goes on. Here comes an additional question and a general understanding of what the tourist wants. I say, then you tell me, what do you imagine? A vacation. If you really want to take a break from work, from all this hustle and bustle, you might want to try a hotel. But if you're ready for cleaning, ironing, and all that care, try apartments. By the way, we also have apartments. There are several apartments. We have everything. We can offer it all. As for the cost, to summarize this topic, if we sum it up, then in terms of cost,
we mentioned 100 euros per day. And how much would a hotel be per day? For 2 plus 1, for example.
Well, look, 2 plus 1, a good hotel, at least 250 per day. 2 plus 1, 2 adults and 1 child. A good one, of course, with meals, something like all-inclusive or the middle range, at least 200. This is without the flight. You can find something simpler. Per day with budget meals, mugagi for $150. But that would be a solid 4-star. For $100, it might be just breakfast or simply basic accommodation. So still 150 per day. But this is without the flight. Plus, you will need to purchase the flight separately. Therefore, in terms of cost, in my opinion, it's hard to say what's more economical. It depends more on your preferences, your vacation goals, and your purpose for traveling to Turkey.
And in practice, is it better to take a package tour? Or to choose flights separately? Now?
In practice, it's always better to take a tour. Currently, I have local tourists here in Turkey. They were looking at Max Royal. By the way, I talked about this on Instagram. And we checked. I managed to do it directly. Booking the hotel turned out to be 40,000 rubles cheaper. We looked on Russian websites and it was more expensive.
Generally, it all depends on the situation.
Yes, it all depends on the situation and always compare. Always compare. Often 70% of the time a tour is cheaper. But if you happen to catch cheap tickets, I often talk about this to my followers now. All airlines constantly organize discounts, promotions, some games, contests in their lotteries. On their channels, you can really catch a cheap ticket. You just sit and watch. They organize discounts. If you manage to catch a really cheap ticket, then you can already find a cheap apartment somewhere. And then fly economically to Turkey, if it's really beneficial and you want to. Thank you, Nastya, for enlightening us. Let's chat in the comments, write any questions you have.
If you like this format of video, we'll record more.
And we're heading home.
Olga Land, yachts, transfers, excursions, group and individual. Everything you were looking for in Antalya. Subscribe.